Hello everyone, I'm Bruce, and today I will talk about the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome outbreak in South Korea in 2015. The Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS, also known as camel flu, is a viral respiratory illness caused by a coronavirus that was first identified in Saudi Arabia in 2012. Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that can cause diseases in humans, ranging from the common cold to severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS. Scientific evidence suggests that people are infected through unprotected, direct, or indirect contact with infected dromedary camels. The MERS virus is transmitted primarily from infected camels to people, but transmission from people to people is also possible. A typical case of MERS includes fever, cough, and/or shortness of breath. Um, Pneumonia is common. However, some people infected with the MERS virus have been reported to be asymptomatic. Gastrointestinal symptoms, including diarrhea, have also been reported. The mortality rate for people with the MERS virus is approximately 35%, and currently no vaccine or specific treatment for MERS is available. However, there are several vaccines for MERS in development. Treatment is supportive and based on a person's clinical condition. Okay, it was first identified in the patients from Saudi Arabia in April 2012, and sporadic cases, small clusters, and the large outbreaks have been reported in 24 countries, with over 1,000 cases of the virus and over 400 deaths. From the graph, we can see that Saudi Arabia and South Korea contributed the most for the infected cases. Um, After the outbreaks occurring in the Middle East in 2015, a large MERS outbreak occurred in South Korea, and this is also the largest MERS outbreak outside the Middle East. So, uh, the outbreak of MERS occurred in South Korea from May 2015 to July 2015. From the outbreak, a total of 186 cases have been infected, with a death toll of 36. South Korea reported its first MERS case on May the 20th, 2015. A 68 years old man returning from the Middle East was diagnosed with MERS 9 days after he initially sought medical help. He told doctors in the first clinic he visited that he had been in Bahrain, where there had been no MERS cases. As his symptoms got worse, he sought consultations in two other centers before being correctly diagnosed in the fourth. After he revealed that he had also been in the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Uh, and the second patient was in the same hospital room as patient zero, though the virus does not seem to pass easily from person to person. Close contact with an individual can lead to infection. Due to their unfamiliarity With the conditions, MERS was able to rapidly infect a large number of patients, and medical support staff at 3 of the 4 hospitals patient zero attended. Of those infected, over half have been connected to the hospital where patient zero was confirmed with MERS. The MERS case started going up from May 28th and continued to increase until the end of June. During the first 2 weeks, the case number rapidly increased to 150. No new cases occurred after July 5th. The first death case appeared on June the 1st and increased to 36 by July 10th. To prevent the spread of MERS virus to the local community, on June the 1st, 2015, the government of South Korea ordered a cohort quarantine. Persons with a history of exposure to patients with confirmed MERS were isolated in the same hospital ward, and as high as 6,729 people were quarantined in the middle of June. Okay, let's look at the epidemiological characteristics of this outbreak. Totally, 83% of transmission events were due to 5 super spreaders, and 44% of the 186 MERS cases were in patients who had been exposed within the hospitals. The median incubation period and the severe interval was 7 days and 12.5 days, respectively. The median duration of fever was 8 days. Pneumonia progressed suddenly at around day 7 of illness onset. The case fatality ratio is 20.4%. Okay, the main transmission route is hospital-to-hospital transmission. The chain of transmission was identified in all 186 MERS patients. Of the 86 healthcare institutions that had taken in MERS virus-infected patients, nosocomial transmission occurred in 12 hospitals and 4 clinics. During patient zero's admission to Hospital C, so we can see from the graph the Hospital C, he was unknowingly spreading MERS virus. Patients, including patients, visitors, and healthcare workers, were exposed to MERS virus. As a result, a total of 36 MERS cases occurred at Hospital C. Of them, 26 patients developed symptoms within 14 days after exposure, suggesting they were first-generation cases. The remaining 10 patients may be second-generation cases. So there are 2 waves. The first wave occurred in Hospital C, and the other occurred in Hospital D. The index case of the outbreak at Hospital D was a 35-year-old man who had been exposed to MERS virus at Hospital C during May 15 to 17. He developed a fever on May 21st and eventually visited the emergency room on May 27th after his pneumonia became aggravated. Many individuals have been exposed to the super spreader at the emergency room, and contact tracing identified 675 patients and estimated 683 visitors and 218 healthcare workers or contacts of super spreader. Of them, 278 were quarantined and 617 were under active monitoring. As a result of exposure to super spreader, 82 had the laboratory confirmed MERS virus infection, and an additional 10 were secondarily infected from them. So researchers isolated 13 new viral genomes from 40 infected patients treated at a hospital and found that 12 of these genomes possess a point mutation in the receptor binding domain of viral spike protein. These unexpected findings suggest that MERS virus adoption during human-to-human spread may be driven by host immunological pressure, such as neutralizing antibodies, resulting in reduced affinity to host receptor, and thereby impairs viral fitness and virulence, rather than positive selection for a better affinity to CD26. Okay, here are some discussions. Nosocomial spread was a major route of MERS virus transmission in 2015 MERS outbreak in South Korea. Under the South Korea healthcare system, patients can visit secondary hospitals and the emergency room of hospital without limitations, which probably facilitated a nosocomial transmission of MERS virus. Such doctor shopping is widespread in Korea, which has established itself as an international center for medical tourism and has an insurance system with low reimbursement rates that encourages high turnover by hospitals and does little to discourage patients from seeking second opinions. Uh, this even served as a timely reminder that natural geographical barriers against the pathogens can now be easily overcome through trade and travel. As the world is connected more closely than before, thus many potential infections can travel worldwide in a short time. Okay, thank you.